Viva Physical Media 71.
71. Welcome back to our show.
Yes.
Episode 71. Our second episode of the new year, of the brand spanking
2024.
new year, 2024. And so far, so good, right?
Yeah, it's going all right.
It's going fine.
Yeah, I'm into it.
We're okay.
Yeah, I'm doing good.
I'm doing good. I'm doing pretty good. I was a little sick last week, but I pulled through. Why are you laughing?
I like the generic, here's how I'm doing parts.
Well, I'm saying how I was doing.
No, I'm into it.
I got a cold, and then I stopped having a cold.
How's dry January treating you?
It's fine. No, it's fine. I feel like last year was harder. This year, it's fine, except this drink's kind of gross, this magnesium drink. But the other flavor of the recess drink's really good.
I'm drinking iced tea in solidarity with you.
Oh, thank you.
By the way, if you were wondering why Margot Robbie didn't get a Best Actress nomination this week at the Oscars, it's because Netflix sent out these really sweet Naiad thermoses to reviewing press. Get your swag in order, Greta Gerwig. Look, it says Onward, and it's got a cup.
It's no Stanley H 2.0 quencher.
It's not, but it is really nice.
You guys want to send me a Stanley H 2.0 quencher, 5030 Roosevelt Way Northeast, Seattle, Washington 98105.
Two 2.0s, please.
Two 2.0s, please. We got a good episode ready to go.
Yeah.
Any housekeeping stuff we'd like to talk about? Thank you again for helping us get our end of the year goal.
Mm-hmm. I don't really think we have a lot of housekeeping stuff in order right now.
It's January. It's the weird, kind of lull in things happening. Yeah. But
we are doing a thing where we're trying to get some feedback from people about what they're excited to come out and watch in 2024. You can find that on our website. You can go to our link tree, like link in bio thing. You'll see the link tree. You can get to it there.
Yes. Let us know what you're excited to watch. And do you want to get into it?
I do.
Let's get into it.
Mailbag. Quickie mailbag.
It's a quickie mailbag.
One
just
bag
a short
of mail.
Little jot. Just a jot. Just a little note.
Yeah, it's kind of a long jot.
But it's a solid jot.
It's a solid jot. It's from our friend Troy Barber. He says, "Hi Viva crew." Hi Troy.
Hello.
Hey, Troy.
Q. Do you enjoy movie games /apps/Wordles? If you do, which ones? I recently discovered the online Wordle-esque game Movie Grid and need to thank Viva Physical Media. That's us. Each day there is a grid, see below, he's shown a picture. For each box, you try to find a movie that matches both the row and column categories. You get points for correct guesses. You only get 9 guesses for 9 boxes, but no repeats are allowed. But you also get more points if you guess a movie that not many other people also guessed today. See the little percent sign in the box? This is complicated.
It's complicated, but then I understood. He gives some examples.
Example, you need a Russell Crowe movie from the years 1990 to 2010. You get more points for the obscure The Sum of Us than the blockbuster Gladiator, which many people will guess. Well, that makes more sense. I hope I was able to explain the rules clearly. This leads me to my thanks. Because I watched Viva Physical Media, for the category Don Cheadle movie from 1990 to 2010, I was able to slot in Hotel for Dogs. Only 1.3% of the players did likewise. More points. Trust me, Viva is the only reason I know this movie.
More people need to watch that movie, but I'm also happy not a lot of people did, so that you got the points.
I've been telling my friends that watching Viva makes them smarter, and this is my latest evidence. It's all correct.
Yeah.
Best, Troy in San Francisco. P.S. Viva also helped me ace the Saturday, January 20th New York Times crossword 11 down, non-kosher Wendy's offering, 9 letters. I didn't even need any crosses. I just threw those letters right up.
You just throw them right up.
Hell yeah.
Just throw them right up, much like you do after eating too many Baconators.
Well, what is too many Baconators, really?
You'll never know.
I have eaten one. I just took the cheese off.
Yeah.
PPS, I have nothing to disclose and no financial relationship to Movie Grid, the game, or the New York Times. Well, that's good to know. I was worried about that. So that's an interesting recommendation. Do you play any movie app games?
I don't really... I don't play games, you guys. A long time ago, I used to be into... Do you remember Seen It? Where you put in the DVD and it would be on the screen with your friends. It was just like movie trivia shit. I like that, or I did like that. And just like general trivia stuff. But no, and I played when Wordle was really popular, like last year or the year before. I tried it out a couple times, but I'm just not a big game on my phone girl. I'm out like, let's sit down, let's play some dominoes, let's play some dice while we're drinking. But I'm not really a gamer in that regard. What about you? But this game sounds fun.
I played Wordle for a little while and I was really good at it, and then I just stopped. What's it called? I forget what it's called, but it's like, it just shows you a picture Like a still from the movie and you hit.
Frame or something.
Yeah, it's like one that Will Goss would always play.
That's the box office one where it like gives you a blank ranking of box office movies from a specific week and a specific year with a couple. I think there's a couple of hints, but you just have to guess like
Unhinged.
what was the thing. And he's really good at it.
Yeah.
I don't play the movie ones because they make me feel dumb when I don't get them right.
Yeah.
You know, it's like my powers are weak. I can't handle it anymore. It's like a huge ego blast to me. I can't handle it.
I do love when like when I'm watching Jeopardy. If I'm like at my mom's house and Jeopardy's on the TV or something like that, and there's like a movie question and I get it, I feel good.
Don't you love it how when you watch Jeopardy, like they know all of this shit, but they don't know fucking anything about movies? It'll be like Best Picture. It's like the answer is Lawrence of Arabia, and they're like, I never heard of that.
Yeah.
Happens all the time with the movie ones. They never get them right.
This game sounds fun, and maybe I'll look at it. Maybe I'll look at it. Maybe I'll try. Maybe I'll give it a spin.
Yeah? Toss in the
Maybe,
old
if it's free.
mailbag.
But we should talk about how people who are watching could also mailbag us.
Yeah.
If you feel like really just mailbagging us, then you
Just get right down there and start mailbagging.
Just start mailbagging. Let us know what you've been watching, what you're excited to watch, what you love about the show. Don't tell us what you don't like about the show. I don't want to hear it. If we have
Unless
helped
it's
you
Kevin,
out,
we'll hear about that.
if we've helped you out in your gaming life, that'd be tight.
If we won you a round of pub trivia, perhaps.
Yeah. Or if you want to send us treats, beer, presents, and
Cold hard cash.
cold hard cash. You can either email us viva@scarecrow.com or you can mail us 5030 Roosevelt Way, Northeast Seattle, Washington 98105. Scarecrow video, of course. Or just follow us on all the things and say hi. We would love to hear from you. Mm-hmm. And that was our short but sweet
mailbag.
You've got to be kidding me.
What?
We're missing pieces here. Look at this poor cat. It's about to go snorkeling and everything, too.
We have a brand new segment that I decided to propose to everyone. And I can't take full credit for this because I got this idea from the Pure Cinema podcast. Please check those guys out. They're amazing. They do something called Directors Missing Pieces because they're both big movie people. They go through and they find a director that they really like or they've seen a lot of work from, and they seek out something from that director that they have not seen for whatever reason, whether an oversight or, you know, anything. And I felt that would be really fun, and I also felt that it would help you with your resolution to kind of dig more into stuff that you haven't seen before.
It did. It has.
So,
It will.
we are going to just kind of briefly talk about what we chose for that segment and hopefully do it more in the future. Mm-hmm. And I want you to go first.
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
The one I chose was because I'm a really big fan of his movies, and his very best movie, in my opinion, just came out on the Criterion Collection. It's John Sayles, and that movie was Lone Star from 1996.
John Sayles, a distinguished American filmmaker, is recognized for a unique style that combines social realism with astute observations of human dynamics. His films, spanning various genres, feature ensemble casts and intricate narratives that explore complex characters within broader societal contexts. From the historical drama of Eight Men Out to the character-driven mysteries like Lone Star, Sayles' storytelling transcends mere entertainment, tackling themes of race, class, and political dynamics. Notable works like Mate One and City of Hope exemplify his commitment to nuanced storytelling, solidifying his impact on the landscape of American independent cinema.
And I realized that I hadn't watched, he hadn't directed a movie since 2013, and I hadn't watched anything he'd made in the last decade. So I decided to start at the beginning, and I went with 2013's Go for Sisters. This is a really cool movie. Lisa Gay Hamilton plays parole officer, and Yolanda Ross plays her client, as she calls it.
It's a term they encourage us to use. Hollywood agents have clients. They get 10%.
And it turns out, though, that they were childhood friends, like in high school. And, they sort of went their separate ways in life, went down different paths.
You went to 2 bars before you were picked up. I had club soda. Both bars are known to be venues for narcotics transactions. You see where I live. There ain't nothing but that. How you been, Bernice?
But then Lisa Gay Hamilton, the parole officer's character, her son goes missing and is involved with these drug dealers. There's Mexican cartels.
I've heard about this
There's smuggling of Chinese immigrants over the border from Mexico, and they team up together to help find the son.
I'll do what I can. But some of the people I gotta talk to, that's a violation of my parole.
Not if you inform your parole officer and get approval. I'm your parole officer.
And they enlist the help of an aging police officer, Edward James Olmos, who used to be called the Terminator back when he was on the force.
Now, you must still have friends on the local force.
No. There was a federal sting. My voice was on the tapes. I didn't take any money, but...
And they go over the border and try to find her son. It's really good. I mean, that makes it sound like more of a thriller than it actually is, although it does have like really strong thriller elements. It's mostly an examination of these two women and conditions that take place along the border and the way that these different communities sort of coexist right next to each other, which is sort of a defining way of Sayles looking at the world in most of his movies, of like specific groups of folks all existing sort of in the same time and place, and the way that their sort of characters and respective journeys mirror the larger socio-political or socioeconomic conditions that they exist in. It's a really, really good movie. It was made very cheaply, shot on video. Looks awesome though. He's got a couple more that I haven't seen that I'm going to follow up on. So this was a really good idea, and I'm glad it made me watch Go for Sisters.
What's your favorite John Sayles?
Lone Star.
I don't know if I seen.
And then
any
Mate
John
One
Sayles
after
movie?
that.
I don't know if I've even seen. What's like a couple of big ones?
Those are two really big ones.
I mean, anything besides those?
I mean,
know
Return of the
about
Sea
Lone
Caucus
Star.
7, 8 Men Out is great if you are into that sort of thing.
Not seen any John Sayles.
Sunshine State is really underrated.
Oh, that sounds familiar. I don't know. Maybe I'll have to.
Yeah, it's all good.
Juan Soldado, patron saint of illegal border crossers. Soldiers who've been betrayed by their superiors. Just give her $5.
I did a movie by one of my favorite directors, Jane Campion.
Jane Campion, the acclaimed New Zealand filmmaker, is renowned for her distinctive cinematic style that combines visual poetry with emotionally rich storytelling. Campion's films often feature strong, complex female protagonists and explore themes of identity, desire, and societal expectations. Her work showcases a keen understanding of the human psyche. Campion's unique vision is evident in films like Bright Star, which captures the intensity of poet John Keats' love affair, and Top of the Lake, a powerful television series that delves into the complexities of crime and gender. With a focus on intimate character studies and a commitment to pushing artistic boundaries, Jane Campion has left an indelible mark on the world of cinema, earning critical acclaim and numerous accolades throughout her career.
Which is what I haven't seen before, and I saw that it had a really nice looking Criterion release. It's called An Angel at My Table. 1990 it came out, and it is about the life of the New Zealand poet Janet Frame, who is a real poet, and it's based on her memoir, and it kind of goes over the course of 3 parts. So it shows her as a young child, kind of in poverty, kind of being like the odd one out all the time.
Look. When did you last wash?
Yesterday.
Really?
I did wash yesterday.
What did you wash?
My hands.
And dealing with like the tragic deaths of her 2 older sisters. And then as she grew older, she was misdiagnosed with schizophrenia, and so she kept being institutionalized, all while kind of discovering her love of writing. And she was institutionalized, and she was scheduled for a lobotomy, basically.
You're going to have a leucotomy. There's no need to be frightened. It'll do you the world of good.
When she got news that her first book of short stories was published.
Oh, about the leucotomy.
You've won the Hubert Church Award for your book of short stories, The Lagoon.
Not going to have the operation?
No.
And then they were like, oh, we'll cancel your lobotomy because apparently you are successful enough, which is a true story, which is it was going to happen 2 days after they found out.
Lord.
Oh my gosh. And then she moves to Europe. It's her life, which is an extraordinary life, and how she kind of comes out of her shell and meets new people and has all these different experiences while also like carrying like this deep trauma, you know, growing up super poor, all this death around her, and then being in and out of institutions. It was really, really good. It's really sad, but it's really fucking good, and it's gorgeous. It has the same kind of themes that a lot of Jane Campion's work has on, you know, female friendship, the joy found in like girlhood, etc. Because I'm a super big fan of like Sweetie and Two Friends.
What's your favorite Jane Campion movie?
Probably Sweetie, but I really like The Piano, obviously. And I mean, In the Cut.
In the Cut, yeah. I was going to say In the Cut. That's my favorite, yeah.
But yeah, no, this was really, really good. And I don't even think I had heard of it before. So I was just kind of browsing over in the sections because we have, in Scarecrow, we have director sections. So I was looking at some of my faves and noticed this, and I definitely didn't regret it. It's pretty long, but it's great. Definitely one to recommend. So, An Angel at My Table.
I know how to cure warts.
I am going to kick us off here with what I am going to talk about. What the fuck?
Yeah, you're good. You're fine. Just keep going.
Keep saying the words.
Yeah,
That's how they do it on
words,
Family Guy. They just keep throwing stuff out until it starts
well,
to be
great,
funny.
as long as I'm doing it like Family Guy. So, you know, I've kind of been on the lookout for some particularly dark westerns, which are the kind that I like. And I watched The Bravados. Henry King, 1958, and starring Gregory Peck in a kind of uncharacteristic role for him. He's this broody, mysterious stranger who comes into town. And he comes into town because he is there to see the hanging of 4 criminals. And he wants to see this hanging because he has suspicions that they killed and raped and killed. I mean, I'm not sure which order.
His wife had been raped and murdered.
And he comes to this town. This town's called, I think it's called Rio Arriba, and it's this small town, sunny disposition. Everyone is just doing all right. There's a big, beautiful church, and they're all getting ready to watch the big hanging because nothing like that ever happens in their town. And so he comes to just lay his eyes on these guys because he's like, I know they fucking killed my wife.
Mm-hmm.
Much obliged. Who's that, Sheriff?
Don't you know?
I never saw him before in my life.
He came to see you hang.
They escape. Everyone, the night before the hanging, the entire town goes to church because they're kind of like, well, this is kind of fucked up that we're about to watch all these men die. Let's pray extra hard. And they're all in this church, and you hear this choir in the background, and it's silence because the whole town is silent. And then these guys just break out of the jail, and they kidnap this really nice girl. She's just like, you know.
Is it Joan Collins?
No, Joan Collins is in it, though. Joan Collins is Gregory Peck's old lover.
Right.
It's too much for a woman to handle.
You never got married?
Nope. I just can't seem to find the right man.
Maybe you're too particular.
Now it's a man on a mission to hunt these guys down and systematically kill them one by one.
You remember that woman?
No.
Now look at it.
And every time he comes up to one, he shows them his pocket watch that has a picture of his wife and his child. His child's fine, she's staying with relatives, but his wife is dead, and he's always like, tell me if you recognize it. And everyone's like, no, I don't know this woman, blah, 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 blah. I don't murder women, blah, blah, blah. But he doesn't believe it, and he just fucking goes and he does his killing. I don't want to like spoil the movie all the way, but he kind of discovers the cost of his vengeance. It's just it's a really good hunting down and killing vengeance Western movie. And it's gorgeously filmed. It was filmed in Mexico, and it's just super gorgeous cinemascope, awesome location, landscape settings. It's just a cool, you know, morality tale, and it's pretty bloody and violent, and I was into it.
That's killer.
Yeah, and I think Gregory Peck was really good as the leading dude because he was just like so kind of soft-spoken and with his deep voice and everything, and he's just, you know, you don't initially think he's like gonna be a bad guy, and then he's
not Atticus Finch.
No, not Atticus Finch,
No.
and he's not even a bad guy.
Not the guy from Marooned.
He's just driven to do bad things because other people did bad things, and isn't that just like the human dilemma?
Did you ever see The Naked Spur, Anthony Mann with Jimmy Stewart?
No, see, so
You'd like that if you like this.
haven't seen a lot of Westerns. I feel like when we started the show, I was kind of trying to watch more. And I find myself continuing on that journey.
If you're looking for more sort of dark Westerns like that, I would recommend
ones,
Naked Spur.
Yeah.
Would you care to inspect the gallows and have a look at the prisoners?
It's plenty time for that. Had a long, dusty trip. Think I'd like to freshen up a bit.
Your room's ready, Mr. Sims.
Oh, thank you. I hope I see you again, sir. Of course, not professionally.
Oh, it's like you're in a Western.
Yeah, I have sort of a Western, but not really. It's a deeply, in my opinion, underappreciated film by a great master filmmaker, John Woo's Windtalkers. This is his World War II epic. It stars Nicolas Cage and Christian Slater, and they are soldiers. Their job is to safeguard the Navajo code talkers that were used in World War II against the Japanese. They used the Navajo language as the basis for a code.
You boys want to be code talkers. Show me some brains. Think. What do we call a tank? Tortoise. Good.
And the whole premise is very John Woo-y. Each of them gets paired with a specific one of these code talkers, like Nicolas Cage's as Adam Beach.
Benyazi. Guess the Corps paired us up. How you doing?
You're blocking my view.
The code cannot fall into enemy hands.
Under no circumstances can you allow your code talker to fall into enemy hands. Your mission is to protect the code at all costs. You understand me?
So if they're going to be captured, Nicolas Cage has to shoot him.
Yes, sir. I do. Good.
It's very John Woo-y in that sense of like it has this sort of heroic bloodshed, like bond of masculinity, like trial by combat. You know, they eventually bond throughout their ordeal. But it also is one of the greatest, most viscerally violent war movies ever made. You can look at war pictures like Saving Private Ryan and look at the action sequences in those, and they're terrifying and visceral. You know, I would argue that Spielberg changed the way action movies were made by filming the way he did in Saving Private Ryan. But nobody makes a giant action sequence like John Woo, and this is basically like Saving Private Ryan if it had been directed by John Woo. Guys pirouetting in the air, slow motion cut with fast motion, incredible explosions, tons of gunfire, bodies being shredded with bullet hits. It's not just a war is hell, it's like a perfect, maybe one of the great American late war films because nobody understands the intrinsic beauty of screen violence like John Woo. I think that this is probably his second best American film after Face Off. This is one of his best films. It's taken a while to sort of sink in. I think it was pretty dismissed when it came out back at the time. I know that when I first saw it, I wasn't that into it. It's only sort of, I've only come to appreciate it as I've gotten older. Also, this Blu-ray that I'm holding here has a director's cut on it, which is about 30 minutes longer. And I highly recommend that you check that out. This is a great movie by an incredible filmmaker who hasn't really gotten his due, and this movie is totally underappreciated. So definitely check out Windtalkers.
Uncle, they've never seen so many Navajos.
Now I'm going to talk about a little French noir. A little Duvivier. Panique. 1946, Julien Duvivier. This is also another movie that is, you know, the small town up in arms about what they may or may not know when it comes to the theme of vengeance. Michel Simon stars as Monsieur Hire. I forgot his name.
Bonsoir, monsieur.
Un camembert un peu coulant.
He is basically this loner. He's a weirdo. He is an astronomer and a spiritualist, and he doesn't really like people, and he keeps to himself mostly.
Une carte d'électeur? Je ne vote pas. Une lettre quelconque? Je ne reçois jamais de lettres. Vous n'aimez pas beaucoup la société, vous. Dans quel sens employez-vous ce mot? Je parle français comme tout le monde et je constate que vous n'avez pas d'amis. Un point, c'est tout. Je n'aime pas les hommes, et encore moins les policiers.
But he goes to the butcher shop and he orders bloody cuts of steak, more bloody the better, and the runniest cheese. He asks for like the meltiest cheese he can get.
Voilà, bonsoir. À votre service. Toujours bavard, celui-là est toujours anonyme.
And people just kind of think he's weird, and he's kind of a bulky, kind of just lumbering dude. But he keeps to himself. He, you know, maybe he doesn't go to church with everyone. Maybe, you know, he doesn't like hang out at the bar with people, but whatever, he pays his rent.
Client comme lui qui paye le jour qu'il faut, j'en voudrais dans toutes les chambres.
And then we're introduced to a woman who comes into town who we realize has just come back from prison, where she spent time because she took the fall for her boyfriend's crime.
Si je te disais, Freddy, que je l'ai aimé, ma prison, puisque c'est pour toi que j'étais là-bas. Et même, j'aurais voulu que ce soit plus dur encore. Que les gardiennes qui sont des vaches soient des vaches enragées, pour souffrir plus. Et mieux te prouver jusqu'à quel point je t'aime.
He's a bad guy. He's a bad criminal, and he lives in this town as well. She comes back, she's like, I'm back. I did the time, it's fine, I love you. Then everyone discovers a dead woman in the town, like off to the side in like the shrubbery or whatever.
Et patron, il a une belle paire de godasses. Ah mince, c'est des godasses avec des pieds dedans.
And no one knows who killed this woman.
There's a dead woman in the shrubbery.
Basically. No one knows who killed this woman.
That's not French.
We find out because he says so, that the criminal boyfriend is like, yeah, I killed that lady, but, you know, no one's going to know it's me. We're going to blame it on the old weirdo.
That's a good idea.
Because everyone thinks he's weird anyways. Let's just blame it on him. We're going to make sure that he doesn't have anything on me because he's being weird to you. Like, the weirdo guy keeps kind of, like, watching this girl, stalking her a little bit. He's being creepy. Like, he's not without fault. But he's no murderer. However, the main girl is going to kind of not catfish him, but kind of like seduce him and find out if he has anything on them as a criminal noirish couple. He has no idea that she's playing him, and it kind of turns into this thing where they turn the whole town against him. All this happens during the week that the carnival comes into town to kind of add that layer of like crazy spectatorship to the whole thing.
Good vibes.
There's some really cool shots and some carnival scenes. There's one where she's like, this guy, he like keeps following me and like checking me out. Let's get in the bumper cars and see if he gets in the bumper cars. And there's this whole scene where her and the rest of the town people are just fucking pummeling this guy with the bumper cars.
Wow.
It's crazy. Also, so dangerous.
Yeah, those bumper cars.
50s amusement parks.
Yeah. I mean, there's ones from the 80s in like New Jersey. Those are bad too.
Even like, I don't know if you remember when the Seattle Center had their amusement park rides.
Yeah.
There was one that was like a water slide. It was a log, and you'd like go up really tall before it goes back down, and they didn't have any seatbelts, so you had to really hold on.
Wasn't there that one where you might run into Mark Wahlberg, and that was a whole other thing?
And if you did that, you better hopefully
wear pants.
Yeah, definitely. Basically, it all culminates into this kind of mob, this town square mob where they chase this guy that they think is the murderer because they're eager for some criminal justice. And what happens next is something you guys will have to find out when you watch it. But it's a really great, weird, little, very snappy noir, very shadowy and cool, and the amusement park scenes are awesome. It's also commenting on like post-war France and its kind of society of suspicion and like, were we quick to like point fingers? I guess this is based on a book where he's explicitly Jewish, and in this he's kind of vaguely Jewish. So there's all these different layers to it, but it was a really good, quick movie that I thought was definitely worth mentioning. So Panique, check it out.
I chose something that I just found out about recently that I surprisingly hadn't heard of. It's called in this case, The Terrorists. A while back I talked about a movie that I really love called Fear is the Key, and that's based on an Alistair MacLean novel. The only reason I bring that up is because this isn't, but has a very similar vibe. If you're into these sort of slightly dry 70s, like old guy action movies, this is a little bit along those lines. It starts out in the fictional country of Scandinavia, where the British ambassador to Scandinavia, these terrorists have taken over his mansion, and led by this notorious, like, vaguely leftist bad guy.
But that was war.
So is this. You are fighting to destroy a system you considered evil, of which you disapproved. So am I.
And they're planning to ransom his freedom in order to get some of their comrades released from prison.
The London police are holding 5 of my associates. If the British government wish to secure the release of their ambassador to Scandinavia, they must free these men.
And so the Scandinavian government calls in their head of security.
Talvik will be briefed as soon as possible. You know Talvik, of course.
Niels Talvik and I are old friends.
He will regard this as a surrender, you know. And he won't like that.
It's Sean Connery, who's playing, a nebulously Finnish or Swedish guy, but he still sounds like Sean Connery.
Good.
They return with the plane.
Hey.
They return with the plane.
Ja, men went to Emalie.
You will release them at the airport. Or you can stay here and rot.
And he's like going to try to negotiate with these guys to figure out what to do. He wants to just hardline, like, storm the castle. You know what I mean? He just wants to go in there and kill everybody. Meanwhile, the terrorists are planning to get away on it. They're demanded an airplane and parachutes, and they're going to get on this airplane and parachute to safety. Coming in for a landing at the Scandinavian airport is a passenger jet.
Captain Denver, your aircraft is wired up to explode. You will do exactly as I say.
That just as it's about to land is hijacked by Ian McShane, who plays a guy named Petrie. And he is basically demanding that they're going to blow up the plane unless Shepard, the terrorist, is escorted safely on board with his hostages. And then they're going to fly to safety. So now Sean Connery is battling sort of 2 sets of bad guys, one at the airport and one at the mansion. Meanwhile, the British government is up to some shady stuff.
Denver says they're stiff with guns. What the hell's London Airport doing? What kind of security are they carrying out?
And they keep kind of like interfering with his whole plan. This is a very brisk hour and 28 minutes. It doesn't have like a lot of thrilling action scenes except towards the very end. There's a shootout. It's mostly just...
It's a thrilling adventure on the back,
so... Kind of. I wouldn't call it an adventure, but it was very fun to watch, and Sean Connery is good. Everybody's very dry and kind of bossy in it. They're just always going like, now you see here, here's what we'll do. Like just sort of pointing fingers at each other and speaking in accents. Ian McShane's really, really funny in it as this like sort of seething bad guy. It has this vaguely kind of Die Hard 2-ish setup and structure because it mostly takes place in the snow at an airport with Sean Connery kind of bouncing around different parts of the airport. And it also has a really, really good vintage Jerry Goldsmith score. Super good score. And it's also, it's from 1974, it goes by the name Ransom also. There's another movie named Ransom from 1974 that's a Filipino action movie. That's not this one, but it goes by both titles. I thought this was pretty cool. I had never really heard of it before. It hit the spot. It went down real smooth.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's like the greatest thing I've ever seen, but if you like these kind of like dry British adventure films like When Eight Bells Toll or something like that, this will totally fit that bill for you. So check out The Terrorists.
I can't do that. Orders. Try it. I've always wanted to punch one of you people.
All right, our next dog movie
Bark, bark, bark.
sounds like that.
2010?
2010, baby.
Marmaduke.
You're totally hosed.
By Tom Day.
Marmaduke.
Who did Shanghai Noon.
I am like a wild horse. You can't tame me.
I knew I was in for a great treat when it was rated PG for rude humor.
Marmaduke!
Let's fucking go. Marmaduke. The cast in this is insane.
Marmaduke is a CGI Great Dane based on the notorious comic strip Marmaduke about the legendary terrorist Marmaduke.
And he's voiced by Owen Wilson.
I'm Marmaduke, by the way. I get yelled at a lot.
He's very amiable fellow.
He's earnest.
And he's too big for this world. He feels out of place.
His best friend's a cat.
Yeah.
Hey, this is my stepbro Carlos, by the way. Say hey, Carlos.
Hey, Carlos.
He's pretty cool for a cat, which helps since he's basically my only friend.
George Lopez.
Yeah.
And
Interesting choice.
They get into various hijinks. You know, Marmaduke, he feels out of place. There's an opening monologue where he sort of describes what it feels like.
No one wants to really play with him.
No one wants to hang out with him because he's like too big and too mopey and stuff like that. And he just wants to be a fun dude. He just wants to have a good time.
Like most kids his age, he loves to hang out with me.
Come on, buddy. I can't see.
Yeah, I'm pretty busy myself. I'll catch you later.
And they live in Kansas. The mom is Judy Greer, and the dad is Lee Pace in his pre-Hottie era. And there's 3 kids. And Lee Pace works marketing for a pet food company. And he gets a big job in
Los Angeles.
In the OC.
And his boss is William H. Macy.
Yeah.
You've got yourself a beautiful best friend there, Phil.
Oh, thank you. Marmaduke and I were like 2 peas in a pod.
Who's licking butt now?
Interesting.
It was always a little unsettling.
Apparently had a college tuition balloon payment.
So they learn that they're going to go to the OC, which causes Marmaduke and Carlos to sit down and somehow watch an episode of the OC, which is great. But Marmaduke says the only thing he learns is that no one has dogs in the OC, and
Seth here's a total drama queen.
You're the biggest drama queen, amigo.
I like the part where they give him drugs to go on the airplane and they start tripping in the car.
Yeah, so they eat meatballs.
Yeah. And Marmaduke's like, I know I shouldn't eat this, but man, can't help it.
And then they get on the plane, and this is where I thought it was going to have an incredible journey, kind of homeward bound
I would have been so into that.
And no, they just kind of pass out on the plane.
Have you ever looked at your paws? I mean, really looked at them?
I followed you on many adventures. I followed you on many adventures. But into the great unknown mystery.
I
will
go first, indeed.
amigo.
Timber!
And then they're in the OC.
California.
Yeah, that song plays. There's lots of nods to the show, which I love. And
I've never seen that show.
Didn't make any difference for him.
Didn't get it. Well, he goes to hang out in the park because William H. Macy likes to do his job, run his business from the dog park. Barefoot.
That's why I like working out here. I can measure firsthand who I'm dealing with.
Watch it, Phil. He can smell your fear.
And so Lee Pace takes Marmaduke to the dog park where Marmaduke meets a bunch of other dogs.
It's the dog park, man. It's like high school for dogs.
He meets a crew of kind of quirky dogs. The main girl is Emma Stone. She's Maisie, and she's some sort of cattle dog. And then there's McLovin.
McLovin is a dog.
A hairless, weird-looking dog.
Sometimes, because we live in California, this is the land of the puma. There are no pumas in Southern California. Pumas, they come out of nowhere.
They like point out all the cliques, and then they're like, those are the pedigree. The pedigree dogs, they run the park. And the main pedigree dog is Bosco.
Alpha male who runs the park. He's the toughest dog around.
Him? He doesn't look that tough.
And he's voiced by Kiefer Sutherland, and he is a jerk.
This is my park, and these are my rules. Now, you look at my girlfriend again, and you're dead. You come near her, you're dead. You talk to her, and you're dead.
And his girlfriend is Fergie.
Fergie.
Yes, the Duchess, Fergie.
No problem. Sorry.
This unfortunately happens to me all the time.
Me too.
Oh, brother.
She is a lassie dog, a collie, which seem to be, you know, I've seen a lot of dog movies, and they seem to always be the, like, hot girl dogs.
Yeah, they're, like, supposed to be, like, sort of classy and dainty, I guess.
It's kind of like how they always make chihuahuas really horny, which I think is maybe a little racist.
My dog is a girl dog. She's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Doesn't look anything like a collie.
My dog is a chihuahua, and she's not horny.
Yeah.
Anyways.
But we digress.
We digress. You begin to see patterns and tropes when you watch enough of these movies.
Lee Pace decides that it'd be a good idea to have a surfing contest where the dogs are surfing.
A surf competition for dogs?
Yeah, Lee Pace gets hired to be like marketing manager and then immediately throws a huge dog surf contest, which...
How's that going to sell organic dog food to the heartland?
You know,
and
which sucks
Marmaduke,
because Bosco already said he's the best surfer.
Right, but then Marmaduke sort of accidentally beats him at the surfing contest, and they get into a fight and cause a whole ruckus.
Big mistake.
At the dog surf contest, thing that just I found almost psychically crushingly weird.
Welcome to the first annual Bark Organics Dog Surfing Competition. Dogs and owners, make your way to the shore. Cowabunga!
Marmaduke's hanging out with his own friends, plays Dance Dance Revolution.
Time to get funky!
That kind of sucks. And then also there's like a mysterious dog legend voiced
Chupadogra.
by Sam Elliott. Chupadogra.
Chupadogra.
Oh!
Chupadogra? But he's just an old dog. He's just rough.
Yeah, and we learn more about his past later on when him and Marmaduke kind of bond for a second, but he's always leading in the background.
He kind of reminded me of the big dog from The Sandlot.
Yeah.
I wish that there was a puppet instead of a CGI dog.
Or just like a man in a suit.
That'd be cool. Like in the Shaggy,
like
what is it, the Shaggy
too.
DA?
Oh my god.
When the dog punches the guy?
That was tight.
Amazing.
Throw in a clip of the dog punching.
Out of my way!
Also, the dog father, please. Academy Award winner Emma Stone is falling in love with Marmaduke.
Inexplicable.
And she says, you know, the perfect date would be...
I'd want him to take me to the junkyard. It's really romantic there at night.
And then she discovers that Marmaduke uses her date idea on Jezebel. Fergie. And it's drama, because he's trying to get in with the pedigree dogs.
Yeah.
So it's basically like a teen high school movie with dogs. Marmaduke has a party at his house when Lee Pace and Judy Greer are gone. It's a wild and crazy party. People are breaking things. I don't know how.
Sure, they gotta be pooping on the floor.
One dog was literally peeing on the couch, and I don't know how Marmaduke thought he was going to clean that up.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't even have opposable thumb.
I know. And then Lee Pace gets really mad at him because he made him lose the whole Petco account, and he makes him sleep outside in the rain, which I was really...
That was mean. I wouldn't... That was a step too far. Dog doesn't know what he did.
And then he's all sad, so he sulks off.
He runs away, basically.
There's one scene where he walks by these TVs in a store and it's playing Old Yeller. It's really sad.
I thought that was really funny because he's looking at it and they're like, the mom is like hugging Old Yeller and going like, Toby, come look at, isn't he the best dog ever? And Toby's like, he is the best dog ever, mama. And you're like, that's not the right movie to watch. No.
No, it's like, stay till the end.
They should have showed the clip from Kids in the Hall where Kevin McDonald has to shoot Old Yeller.
It's my dog, Ma. I'll do it. All right.
You're a man now, Toby.
Eventually, what even happens?
I don't know, remember, because I got to tell you,
how it happens
at
LA.
the end of this 82-minute movie, I had thoroughly checked out.
So basically, there's some sort of thing that happens where the ground opened up.
Maisie! No! Maisie!
No, don't let me fall! And
the ground opened up and produced the movie Marmaduke, and we were all swallowed into its like penetrative psychic vortex.
And Maisie, who was out looking for Marmaduke, falls in, and there's a bunch of rushing water underneath, and Marmaduke goes in to save her. Lee Pace is like, fuck, I shouldn't have left Marmaduke out in the rain, and he goes to try to save him, and there's this whole extended rescue with the LA Fire Department involved, and Lee Pace really just diving into rushing waters to save Marmaduke, who's scared of water, by the way. That's a big thing.
I think this would have been more impressive had we not just watched Son of Lassie, which has a very similar finale.
Yeah, true. I mean, this movie was fun. This movie was on par with what I thought it would be. There wasn't any super cool parts, but eventually Lee Pace saves him, and they decide to stay at in the OC, and they all kind of become a better, closer-knit family. And the very end, there's like a CGI. Oh, also
the first thing that happens is that everybody's happy that Marmaduke is home, and we're going to sleep now, and Marmaduke farts on everyone.
Marmaduke.
And he goes,
"Oh, Marmaduke, what did you eat? Man, you got a serious problem."
It never gets old.
Wow.
And I'm like, what are you talking about? And then there's the CGI dance number.
But it should be noted that this is one of those movies where when the dogs talk, they CGI'd mouth movements, which is really, really bad. But at the time, this certain studio had also done Beverly Hills Chihuahua, which I think is the better of the two
You guys
movies.
did that on the show before?
Yeah, maybe we'll watch the sequel.
Please, no?
I mean, it's probably going to happen.
This movie made me long for the comic genius of Strays.
Strays was really funny.
Well, I was wishing during this that they would just throw in some of that, like some ambition at least.
This is 14
This barely
years
had a
ago.
story.
This is a big winner for the kids.
Ugh.
For the kids.
Those kids are probably adults now.
My sister really liked this movie when it came out. I texted my mom, and my mom said she had probably seen this movie 5 times. My mom had probably seen this movie 5 times by watching it with my sister. And she was like, watch out for the dance scene at the end, which is what we were just talking about. I did a little search because I like finding out who these dogs are. And the 2 Great Danes that were the main Great Dane, Marmaduke, in this, were brothers, George and Spirit.
I love it when one's got a regular name and the other one is like Chrysanthemum.
George was mostly for the surfing scenes because he actually could stand on a surfboard.
Fucking stupid movie.
And Spirit was for everything else. And guess what? Spirit's from Renton, Washington.
Oh, shit.
So Marmaduke's a local boy.
Local legend.
Also,
Not to be confused with Spirit, Stallion of the Cimarron.
There was
different animal.
There was a younger, in the flashback to Marmaduke as a puppy, which was really cute because his ears were so big.
He was a very cute puppy.
It was a puppy named Abu. So there we go. I think that's what I found out from this movie.
I didn't think this was like brain-breakingly awful, but I did hate it.
Yeah. I liked it more than you, but I didn't like it. I did get kind of emotional at the end when Lee Pace saved Marmaduke, but then you just look at Marmaduke's stupid mouth moving when he talks. That it
ruins
kills
everything.
It. Just show me a real dog, you know?
Plus, there's something kind of sweet and innocent about it when the dogs are all talking to each other, but their mouths aren't moving because you have to rely on their facial expressions, and like you get a more emotional experience that way.
Yeah, for sure. So whenever it comes to mouths moving, like also. They do that in Santa Buddies too, right?
But it kind of works better in those because it's all tiny little puppies
it's tiny
and stuff.
mouths.
Yeah.
And so it's hard. Well, I was reading an article about the studio that did
Thank
the
you,
effects,
the New Yorker.
And they said it was actually really difficult to do it with Marmaduke because of his jowls. And they also were talking about how they wanted to make it look kind of like the facial expressions that Owen Wilson was doing at the same time.
Wow.
And I think they just really tried to do too much with it. Wow. So yeah, that was Marmaduke. How many paws do you think? Only 1 paw.
Sorry,
really.
I really didn't like it.
I feel like you haven't seen enough bad ones.
Well, I mean, but that's good for me.
No, it's good for you.
Like, I don't need to see any more bad ones. I'm trying to watch good movies again this year. Trying to watch good movies. I don't need more of that.
I'll give it 2. I'll give it a solid 2 paws. I guess we only have 4 paws. So I'll give it 2 and like a little tail wag. Just a quick one, because I did chuckle a few times watching this. I think maybe it was just the right time for me. I don't know.
Yeah.
In my life to watch Marmaduke.
Yeah. Everybody needs one.
All right, what do we got next? You chose one that I think will be a real winner all around.
You put me on the spot, and I needed to come up with something fast, but I think I came up with a good one. I haven't seen this in a really long time, but it is Snoopy Come Home. No dogs allowed.
I'm excited. I probably saw this when I was very, 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 very young. I don't remember it at all. I know it's iconic. And I'm
the
looking
Peanuts
forward
movies
to
are
it.
all like, unsurprisingly, if you know anything about Charles Schultz, like kind of dark and adult
This
in their
one
way.
I know is supposed to be really kind of pulling on your heartstrings.
Yeah.
So,
There's one where they go to Europe too, which is really good. Bon Voyage, Charlie Brown.
well, I'm looking forward to it. This will be a good one. Snoopy Come Home. You can watch it and discuss it with us next time.
Mm-hmm.
Ferdinand is fluent in 6 languages, including Gopher.
Well, that was episode 71, and I think it couldn't have gone better.
Short and sweet.
Short,
to the
sweet,
point.
To the point,
Direct.
but with tons of recommendations.
I know.
A new segment.
It was great.
A delightful dog movie.
Yeah. One for the bucket for sure.
One for the bucket, and a great little mailbag, and
Crap. They should
that's
all
what
be
we're
this
here
good.
for.
They should
That's
all be
what
this good.
This has been the best episode we've ever done.
Second
Delete
best.
all the rest. Email us, viva@scarecrow.com. Come visit Scarecrow if you're in the Seattle area, or you can always rent by mail. Go online, our website will take you through the steps so you can rent from us from wherever you are in the country, and you can always support us because we're a nonprofit. So we rely on your help, whether that's dollars, word of mouth, sharing.
Just coming
the
on in and renting a
internet.
movie.
Yeah, just come and rent a movie. And
Until next time.
Yeah, until next time.
Viva Physical Media.
Viva Physical Media. What else do you want?
What else do you want?
What do you want?
Hey!
Are those, like, real dogs? The canine accessory is so essential.
We are not accessories. Hey, man, in my country, I was a lawyer.
I've been in this for so long I can't feel my legs.